Killing Floor is a series that has stayed with me for a while. My introduction to the game was Killing Floor 2, and after I played it, I went back and played the first entry as well as KF Mod, which was a mod that was made for 2004's Unreal Tournament that was later polished and sold as the retail version of Killing Floor that we know and love today. But before we continue, as always, I need it to be made aware I am not a games journalist. These are opinions, not facts, and that's it. Don't take what I say to heart. You probably won't agree with me on everything, and that's okay. I'm just a dude with a microphone yapping into the void. Now that that's out of the way, let's talk about Killing Floor 3. Right out of the gate, too long, didn't watch, Killing Floor 3 is like someone built a house and misunderstood how to build said house halfway through. But what do I mean by that? Well, let's start with the bare bones, the foundation. Movement is actually pretty good. I can move, run, slide, and all that jazz. There's a crouch button too, but I'll be honest, in a game like Killing Floor, I'm never using it. So I'm not sure why it's there, but whatever. Oh, and there's a dash. Kinda like a dodge, but you can't really dodge anything. When you try 8 times out of 10, you're still going to take the damage that you were trying to avoid. Combat, for the most part, is also good. The shooting is solid, bullets, for me at least, go exactly where they're supposed to. They sound punchy, and I don't feel underpowered in normal circumstances. Grenades do what they're supposed to, and with good effect, and the specialist gadgets do nothing but aid me in killing Zeds at a higher rate. Map design is alright. I can't really comment on it honestly. I have no general complaints, but I have nothing that really pops out at me, you know? City Streets is definitely my favorite map though. Compared to the insane glare that we used to have in the beta, the neon-drenched streets at midnight look hauntingly beautiful. Weapon modding has also been insanely fun. Being able to customize weapons more has me trying out more and more combos, and I love the way that it feels. The initial price increase is definitely painful to see, but the fact that upgrading the mod increases the buff without increasing the price of the weapon is phenomenal, and I can't wait to see what else they add to this system, if anything. The perk system, or lack thereof, is where they definitely dropped the first ball. Now you have specialists, with set classes and abilities, and that honestly just sucks. I miss when I could choose my character, and then choose my class separately, and I don't know why they felt the need to make this choice. However, they are getting rid of this new system, and going back to how it was in Killing Floor 2. So, even though I do dislike the specialist system, and I do want to bitch about it more, I don't think it's worth it now since it'll be gone in a couple months, much to everyone's glee. The music is another area that they dropped the ball in. Killing Floor 2 specifically had a soundtrack that fucked. With Demon Hunter carrying a good amount of that fucking on their back, you couldn't tune it out other than to personally tune the audio down. Killing Floor 3, however, kinda feels like a quickie in a diner. It's good in a pinch and when you're desperate, but the entire time you're yearning for something more. Something better. The music just doesn't hit like it did. It doesn't bang in my skull as I'm killing. If I'm honest with you, viewer, I don't tend to notice it at all. I've tuned it almost completely out at this point. It wasn't until this video actually that I started focusing on the music, and it is good, really it is, but it just doesn't hit like Demon Hunter does. These are the bare bones, the essentials. They are what make the game the game. And while they haven't scored high marks, I'd at least give them a 6.5 out of 10. It looks like they really did put together a good foundation of mechanics. They understand how to make a good shooter, and that much is clear. The problems are much more apparent when you remember that this is supposed to be a Killing Floor game. The easiest one is, again, the specialist system. Again, I won't go into this as much as I want to because they are changing it soon enough, but the fact that they did it in the first place is disheartening to say the least. Why change something that always worked and people loved? What's crazy too is that this new system is basically perfect. The only problem I and other people have is that the classes are tied directly to a character. I want to play Foster and have a medic class, but I'm stuck with Assault because of how the system currently works. Some simple changes would fix literally everything, but they didn't do that. They stuck them to characters. which was the worst thing to do in this situation. They had a perfect system, and they handicapped it for seemingly no reason. Endless mode is also noticeably absent from the game. One of my favorite things to do in Killing Floor 2 was see how long I could survive. This mode isn't in Killing Floor 3, and I haven't heard news on if it will be added at all. I'm not a game developer, but I feel like the inclusion of an endless mode wouldn't be the hardest thing to do in the world. The tone is also very different. Killing Floor was grimy, it was gritty and dirty and very British. Killing Floor 2 was still grimy and dirty, but noticeably less British. Killing Floor 3 isn't nearly as grimy or dirty, and the British aspects are all but completely gone unless you play as Foster. Listen to voice lines from the first game, then the second game, then the third. The passion is just gone. It's definitely improved in terms of voice quality, but the soul is missing. Add to that this game is doubled down on the sci-fi aspects of 2, and a lot of people just feel like Tripwire missed the mark near entirely. Assignments were taken out as well. This isn't a big thing, as assignments weren't an integral part of the game, but they did break up the monotony of normal gameplay by giving us a challenge or 3 during our waves. Granted, this was something that was used for endless mode, and without the inclusion of said mode, it's kinda useless to have around, but I digress. The new characters are also slightly flat. While not as cardboard cutout as the specialists from Call of Duty Black Ops 3 and 4, these guys definitely can't hold a candle to our boys and girls from Killing Floor 1 and 2. Side note, and I think this is actually kind of funny, a lot of people seem to dislike how often the characters talk, but in my opinion, they talk a whole hell of a lot less than someone like Foster or Ray or any of the other characters actually in Killing Floor 2. It's a weird thing to complain about, and I honestly think it's unfounded, which is why I think it's so funny. The hub world that they have us in is also very bare bones. For an organization fighting clones to save humanity, this place lacks any sort of humanity. This place is big, a lot bigger than it needs to be, but apart from the shadows and administration, there's no humans here. All of our stuff is done through machines. The only human interaction we have is through radio comms. It's nice having the armory and a firing range, I love it honestly, but I hate being in here. There's nothing. All this space and there's no sign of life. No one working on equipment or doing any maintenance or anything. The place just feels hollow. And finally, the bosses. Killing Floor has always had some interesting bosses. Not necessarily good ones always, but interesting. And this new batch misses the mark. But only barely. Chimera and Crawler Queen are cool bosses, and I do enjoy fighting them. The Impalers, however, will gangbang you into oblivion, and it sucks. Their designs are boring, and the only thing separating them is color. Oddly enough, that's all I actually have for bosses. I'd love to say something about adding a human element to it, but having a human boss is something they just don't seem adamant to do. They're more so about the monsters this time, less so about the human element of it all. So, whatever. I've been playing a lot of Killing Floor 3, and I do love it, seriously. I'm enjoying my time slicing, dicing, blowing up, gunning down, and executing Zeds. But I can't deny the missing elements. The missing touches that made Killing Floor, Killing Floor. I think you should play Killing Floor 3. I do. I recommend it easy. But if somehow a dev finds this video, I urge you to take into consideration what's being said about the game. Too many devs just ignore what people say, even though when they do listen, shit actually gets better. I say this as a fan, a long-term one, and as someone who wants to keep being a fan. Please don't let this die. Please improve this as best as you can. I genuinely want what's best for this franchise, and I want to see this get a sequel. I love Killing Floor, and I don't want it to die. Anyways, that's about all I have for you today. I do recommend the game. Truly, I do, and you can pick up a copy for PlayStation, Xbox, or PC. We have a Discord if you would like to join it, and I stream every Saturday and Sunday from 10:30 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for giving me any amount of time from your day, and I hope I'll see you later. Have a good night. Also, one final shout out to all of these people who keep me going. Couldn't do it without you, and I appreciate everything you do for me.